Hello, everyone. You may have found us. We are now in the live space. I'll be joined by panelists in a minute. But yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it? What the hell happened there? This has happened a few times now. So thanks for joining us if you found us again. We'd covered quite a lot of time there, but obviously we were looking at the finale of Chris Eccleston and if there were some of the problems had been caused by that. So if you are there, you can join us again in the thread if you can. If not, I will show you various bits and bobs. But let's have a look. Let's have a look here. So hi, whoever's in the thread there, good to see you again. So basically, we were talking about we'd moved from by generation, and we were starting to talk about the fact that the hocus pocus, the magic, the nonsense. Yes, I know, Steve. This has happened twice. I'm going to have a little word with my streamer. Good to see you over the overseer, Matthew Pounder, and all them lot. What is going on? We're obviously not popular, what we're saying, but we will try our best. Hiya, Divine and Dragon. This is fun, isn't it? And I tell you what, I'm going to have words about this. I know. I thought I'll just go live and see if anyone picks me up. But I've written to my panelists to see if they can join us on this one, so I'll just wait for them as well. But please ask away with questions. Do you see, as I do, that actually if we'd left RTD alone with just having done the first era and then we moved away and new showrunner, whatever, fresh blood, I think we wouldn't have had too much of a problem. When you really are forced to look back, you start to see the same patterns and some of the same real issues. And that starts to really be problematic. So if anybody in the thread has got ideas too, as you know, as I'm waiting for my panelists, I will actually show this again, if you can see it. I'm not impressed when I'm forced to look at season 1 with RTD stories. Divine and Dragon, the patterns of RTD are very easy to identify. I know you've said something. If you want to help us out, throw them up. Rachel's joined me. Hello, Rachel.
Hi.
And don't ask. I'll have a very strong word with my supplier after this. My God, because I'm doing nothing wrong. I tell you. Yeah, repetitive and contrived. Too right. So everybody's back. Where were we? I was just telling the thread as if they didn't know because they'd joined us all the way through. Thank you, everywhere, by the way. I need a subscription just to calm me down. I'm trying every trick in the book. It's disgusting. Gary, I was just going to say to you, we were talking about the finale of the season 1 and whether really, when you look back, it had a whole lot of problems with it. Oh,
I just want to say that I take back everything I ever said about RTD. Please don't please don't drop our stream again.
The Disney drones have got us.
No, I was actually going to say, I was actually just about to say something complimentary, that even with the fantasy elements, which prove that these kind of get outs were always there from RTD, we can't dismiss either the finale or even that final sequence totally, because Eckleson does such a magnificent job in selling the emotion of the moment. You can see that his basically PTSD arc is done. He's able to acknowledge the joy in his life and say, I was fantastic. And it's an incredibly melancholy moment. You can kind of, the fantasy nonsense can kind of like flow over you because you are caught up in the emotion of the moment.
Well, I know. This is what I mean. I think I said it on our stream either yesterday or the day before. The prior one. I feel as though a lot of RTD isn't deserving of a rewatch. When you rewatch it, you realize it's just a series of soap opera events. Bobby, I'm pregnant, that kind of thing. It's just, and then once you've done it once, the surprise is gone, and the sci-fi element isn't there. So why would you bother watching back? So, yeah, I mean, and look at season 1 there. Bad Wolf seemed a great wheeze at the time, but when you see, he was just sprinkling it through, and that could have been done in a script edit, really, and just change a scene or that. I mean, actress Rachel, are you impressed when you look back at season 1's structure? Are you impressed? I mean, was RTD the master supremo here with all this great arc that went on? And were you satisfied by the finale?
What, on RTD2 or RTD1?
RTD1.
Oh, it was much better in RTD1. Sorry, was I satisfied by the finale?
Yeah, because we've all had words about the Empire of Death, but were you happy with how he did that one?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that one's not my favorite finale. I think actually my favorite finale is turn left into right up until the is it Parting of the Ways? I can't remember what it's called now.
Yes.
That one, it was fine. I understand Hugh's like contentions around it, though. I really do. Sorry, my glasses keep slipping off. I really do understand the contentions around it from Hugh. I do understand that. I don't have a lot. Was it a good way to end for Christopher Eccleston? I don't know. I would have liked to have seen something a bit better.
I do wonder, Rachel, though, whether season 1 ended with a regeneration, and that saved us looking actually at more of actually how it was explained in the plot, because the big drama was Chris Eccleston was leaving, and we saw a modern regeneration, and we saw a fresh new David Tennant at Barcelona. We didn't really need to look at whether this was just hocus pocus nonsense, you know?
No, we didn't. No, definitely not.
And didn't in a way, I mean, yeah, the circumstances were different, but didn't RTD just go ahead and basically repeat this in season 4? I mean, effectively, in the general sense, it's the same.
And that's what,
better.
And then it's like the law of diminishing returns slightly as well. So we were trying to look at some highs and lows of Chris Eccleston, which would bring out some of these issues. So I was just in the spiel about what Hugh was saying, and also saying I loved that challenge to the Daleks when they said, we've got your companion or your associate, and he said no. And the drama of that, I just remember all the executive teachers, so like I said, were older and crustier, and they said, oh my God, that was amazing. And to hear like mainstream people talking about Doctor Who with such excitement, saying, I've never seen Doctor Who like that. And yeah, when you look at Parting of the Ways, as Rachel said, it didn't quite. Did you like all that? You know, the truck, you can prise the TARDIS apart, you know, and then the hologram. You know, that this default in the TARDIS that you can be sent away. That was Hugh hated that. I know Hugh was going mad about that.
But that was pretty new, wasn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing that before. Anyway. Yeah. No, I was just thinking that what could I add to it? Really. There was one thing though about the Christopher Eccleston regeneration stories, is that I actually think it was right to go with the Daleks, because for the younger audience, they'd only at that point been introduced to one Dalek, and they needed to see what one Dalek could actually do and the power of the Dalek. So then when you get them later, it is not as big of a shock. So they know what to expect, but they expect it like a lot worse. You know what I mean, don't you? I do think it was right to go that way.
And Nick, I want to be fair. The first episode, Bad Wolf, I thought was great. I loved the pop culture bit. I thought it worked. I thought the joke of Android worked. She was vicious.
She was great. She was probably my favorite part of the episode.
I didn't mind the Big Brother
You
stuff.
are the weakest link.
Yeah, and the tension when they're trapped in that, you know, all the floors, and the Daleks arrive, and then you get the, they've that was good, and you could see the Daleks are coming down and all that stuff. And I've forgotten her name. You know, the lady who got killed from the silent extermination.
Yeah.
Oh, Laura,
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm terrible with names
as
it is,
that
but I know
moment
who you
when
mean.
you just saw its lights flashing and you knew it was saying exterminate, and it smashed the glass from outside. That was all good stuff.
But it showed you the terror. It showed you it. I mean, because there would have been people watching that who had no. They probably knew that there's Daleks in Doctor Who, but they'd never maybe watched an episode of Doctor Who before. So I think he built up the tension of the Daleks and gave you a good feeling that it's almost certain death when they appear, unless the Doctor's there, of course. But then plenty die on the road to resolving the issue.
Well, over the Overseer, good point. And this is what I like. I'm open to being wrong or learning stuff. Yeah. I remember this 96 movie had the eye of, I know, inside the TARDIS, and how McGann magically walked through glass. Perhaps RTD series is canon to that film and not the classic series. And it is it's a good point. It is a good point. Because when you look at the movie, there was some strange things happening. And actually, one of my favorite bits in this season 1 was a bit that you could say was a bit of Hocus Pocus. It's this bit. In End of the World, you know, when he seemed to kind of still himself so that he could, because those, you know, propellers were going like the clappers, and he had to just kind of get into the time zones kind of thing, almost like slow motion to kind of get through. There was a kind of magical moment, and I like that. So, of course, Brendan, who is full of all these critiques, also is illogical and inconsistent. I did like that moment. So, yeah.
I don't mind illogical in Doctor Who, not at all. But it has to be done right, and there has to be a balance overall, doesn't there?
Yeah.
I did like that moment. I think I said to you the other night, Brendan, didn't I? I said I if there's one thing I wish there was, and that's a second series of Chris Eccleston. I would have liked to have seen him grow some more. But alas, it went how it went, and Tennant had a good run. I upset my wife every time I say this when I say Matt Smith's better than Tennant. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. But you know,
well,
it went where it went.
Let's go to one of Rachel's favourite moments, which is in not Father's Day. Sorry, get the right slide there.
No, not that one.
She loved the 80s.
Yeah, this moment.
It was
this. Not the Empty Child. Dr. Dancers.
Yeah.
Now these two stories in general, they're really creepy. This is a Stephen Moffat episode. I always thought the one-off two-parter episodes that he did were some of the best work that he's ever done on Doctor Who. Just this moment though, where everybody lives, and he is so excited about that fact that everyone lives. You never see that in Doctor Who. And just the look on his face and the sheer delight on his face that he is able to save everyone because of what are they called? Nano. Not I want to say nanodots, but
nanoclot. Oh, what is
nano lights or something?
Nanogenes, I thought.
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. Just we're trying to work it out, but they couldn't quite work it out, and all they wanted to do was, I think it's something like that, was just heal everyone. And they were trying to do right. But they just took the one thing that they saw and they thought that was the right thing. So they started turning people into the wrong thing just to find out that.
I've Googled it. It's nanogene.
Nanogenes. That's it. Nanogenes. And it just needed a tweak. So because of that one little tweak, he could save everyone. Isn't that amazing?
That was a really nice end to an episode, though, wasn't it? It's nice to have a nice ending once in a while.
Yeah.
That moment, I view that moment as the start of his healing from the Time War.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
And, you know, it's the complete opposite as well to what I had chosen earlier, because I had chosen the bit where, you know, Rose realized, oh, my goodness, everyone's dead. In this case, everyone is alive. And he showed her that you can do that. It's amazing. I love that bit.
Well, a lot of people are agreeing. I can hear the panel agreeing with you, but Over the Overseer and Tickled by Bigsby agrees as well. That was awesome. The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances is so good. It's worthy of the Hinchcliffe era. Does anyone agree?
Yeah. It would have gone well in Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, it would fit in there.
So there's that one. I'm going to show. Hey, there you go, cheeky Brendan here. I think this is one of Chris Eccleston's best moments Can anyone guess, just while I'm getting it up, what it is? We haven't mentioned it yet, of course. Anyone in the thread?
Where he kicks Adam out of the TARDIS? No,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
kidding.
gonna have to mention. We're gonna have to mention that the false companion nonsense. Are we ready, thread? Are we ready, panel? I think this is Chris Eccleston's best moment. Here we go.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. And actually, he might get his dream one day because, you know, if RTD, Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter, and Phil Collinson are all finished or removed, he will come back. I think this.
That wasn't Chris Eccleston talking. That was the Doctor talking.
Well, I've seen him in a recent Comic-Con. I think we've all seen it on YouTube. It was released yesterday, and he sat with Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, Paul McGann, and he's playing back with the script again, isn't he? You know, like Colin Baker says, Jodie Whittaker's my favorite Doctor because at least I could fancy her. You know, they're all back on script. And Chris Eccleston said his favorite Doctor's Shooty. They're all back on script. But when he did do this, I thought this was a really good moment because he really told us to really look at season 1 again, as in Aliens in London, what was going on, last minute scripts. Does he have dyslexia? I'm trying to think. Does he? He has something, doesn't he? Where I think last minute scripts is hardly right up his street. Something, or whether it was just there's something that he's talked about. But Rachel, lots of redrafts, last minute scripts. You're the lead. You're the lead. I mean,
yes.
And I remember you, on the producer versus showrunner thread, you also said that basically you would prefer a producer than a showrunner because showrunners are all over every minutiae.
Yeah. They're very strict, and no, I would hate. And actually, no, I have experienced this. Funny enough, in one of the videos one of the video clips that I had was on my channel. That one had numerous rewrites, and I only got the finalized script. Like, I was quite lucky, like 2 days before, and I still had pages and pages to get down pat and learn. Oh my gosh. And that the older you get, the harder it gets as well. The younger you are, the easier it is. I hate getting rewrites.
Yeah, I can imagine that's stressful, especially when the stress is on bringing back a big show. Dead Man is helping me out here. The propellers in End of the World were bullet time, cognitive speed up, because Tom Baker, yes, in Terror of the Zygons, reducing oxygen consumption. That wasn't magical. That was that. Sally, we still didn't know if Eccleston's Doctor had regenerated from McGann's until we found out he hadn't proper New Who. 2000 felt separate from Classic Who. The banana joke is mentioned by Matthew Pounder. These are their favorite moments. The hologram turn into Rose. At the time, I did love that. It was quite chilling, wasn't it? When suddenly a hologram turns as if he knows you're there, which makes no sense. But
I mean, I don't know. It's not a Chris Eccleston favorite moment from season 1, but when Jack's with the robot, Susanna and Trini, and he pulls the laser out, you know, they're like, "Where did you get that?"
Well, it's interesting. I know, I agree with you. But it's interesting where we are now with John and everybody, where, you know, sexual jokes and all the rest of it. I know, there's more to it, but it's interesting where we've all moved on now. Yeah. Retro Doc, hello, he's there. Overall, the entirety of New Who has completely wiped out the mystery and specialness of regeneration through overuse, including all the false regenerations. And yes, I am bored.
I mean, we have River channeling her energy into Matt Smith. We have Capaldi doing like what we think is a regeneration, but he's just kidding, you know, in that Monk's 3-parter and stuff. They've minimized it and just killed the mystery of it through over explaining and overuse, and it doesn't have any of the mystery it should have.
And they do create lots of continuity errors for themselves as well. You know, I know we're talking Eccleston season 1, but you know, Matt Smith healing River Song's broken wrist with regeneration energy. There's no more regenerations left. what's going on.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
So, since we talked about Chris Eckleson for a moment, Shooty and Russell Davies seem to be just like that. Jodie Whittaker and Chris Dimrell seem to be just like that. Chris Eccleston and RTD, I don't think we'll get in the same room ever again.
No.
What have you heard happened to make Chris Eccleston not diplomatic about his era on Doctor Who without saying stuff? He was kind of cancelled, wasn't he, Rachel? Kind of.
Kind of. I can't really remember how old would I have been. Can't really remember what happened. It was quite a while ago now, wasn't it?
But
yeah, I think he was. He kind of got. It didn't really appear on anything to do with the BBC again for quite a long time. I actually I don't even know if he has. Has he done anything for BBC recently? But yeah, I think he got blacklisted, which isn't good. 20 years ago. Yeah.
So that's
there's several kind of stories. Early on, at one point, there was a thing about that he had a big problem with again, this is not me. This is just, what it is. There was talk that he had a big problem with the director, Keith Boak, which directed the first block, which included the Slitheen two-parter, that did not go well for whatever reason. There was some clashes there. There was the talk that he just the way that, because of the chaos of the production, the way that a lot of the behind the scenes people were treated, that Eccleston didn't appreciate that.
So we're getting different.
There's different stories.
There was a lot of drama, a cancellation of Eccleston, a lot of hard feelings. Matthew Pounder, didn't they want to redub him? John Yulden, hello, good to see you. I think I saw you on earlier as well. Hi, was blacklisted for over a decade by the BBC. C says he had a sick father and they wouldn't give him time off.
Wow.
I always heard that he didn't want to be typecast, whoever put that out there, which seemed,
and whether the BBC dropped a brick, remember, this was a real difficult first season and they didn't know if it was going to be a success or not. And I've read somewhere that they made the mistake of not getting him to commit to a season 2. And therefore it was open for him to just decide to walk away at any point, really, which he did. And I looked at the dates. Honestly, what is it? 26th of March to the 18th of June was the 9th Doctor. That's it.
Yeah.
And when you think we've just had season 1 now, but we've got Shooty again. In fact, I saw some pictures of him filming today in a lawn coat and all the rest of it. And you think 26th of March to the 18th of June was all the time we had.
Still longer than McGann.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I do remember this. The comment that John just put up, that RTD, the people at the BBC was putting out the thing about that was due to stress. And then he thought, well, that makes him look like not a good risk for future roles.
Yeah.
And that could be so he blamed him for that. I do remember that now.
Yeah, so I thought it was worthy of us trying to wrap that up. Look, it's been a very interesting night. I am about to, if you think I'm calm, I'm about to absolutely go at it. The Dalek and Chris Eccleston moment, Gary, will be nothing on me talking to my stream provider in a moment. When I actually say what is going on, because this is disgraceful.
Oh, so, you mean the no moment. The last thought I'll put out there, we don't have to discuss it. I just want to throw it out there. I think that even though he was only on for a season, I think that if the new series of Doctor Who hadn't started with Eccleston, I don't think it would have worked. I don't think it would have. I honestly don't think it would have worked if, let's say, they'd started with David Tennant and not Chris Eccleston. I don't think it would have worked. I think Eccleston brought an instant kind of gravitas to the role, and playing that arc of the PTSD Doctor in scenes like the Dalek one we've talked about, that was absolutely crucial for letting the public know, look, we're taking this seriously. This is serious, solid, science fiction for the whole family. It would not have worked if season 1 had not been Eckleson.
He was so good that our Queen wrote to the BBC and asked for the DVD of Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah,
I find that really funny.
My biggest issue with him in the end, was I don't think Chris Eccleston can smile in that gurning way. I used to hate that when he was going, I just thought, just be northern and just be gritty. I loved it. Yeah. He was, in fact, they made him quite alien in that respect. But thank you, Divine and Dragon. These mini crises are getting too regular. But just before we kind of totally wrap up, and thanks for finding us, everybody. But if you found us, can you just
for staying with us.
Can you just make sure you've also found that button as well, or that button, and that would be appreciated. But no, it's great that you found us. But it's also not going to be great for the stream provider in a moment when I have a chat. But anyway, have a good evening, everybody. And thank you for staying around. And thank you, panel, for finding me for the second time. That was interesting, wasn't it? Anyway.
Thanks for an amazing chat. Again, to the chat. Chat, you were once again absolutely awesome.
Thanks for having me on for a third time in a week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Although twice it's cut out. No. Well, thank you, Tickled by Bigsby. I mean, we're trying, and actually, people I've seen in the thread are trying to give us. You've mentioned the Big Finish, Paul McGann. You're giving us ideas. We need ideas now. It's an interesting point. But yes, remember we've got coming up. Remember, we've got RTD himself. I think we're the only stream who's got RTD in the hot seat.
Absolutely.
You need to send questions in, and he will be in the hot seat, and we will make sure he does not budge. And we will try and come up with an SOS plan for saving the series from where it is now. But thank you, everybody.
Oh wait, Over the Overseer says, is there an email address? Will that be in the
it is in the description for the YouTube, but it's also, Jamie put it up earlier, and it's sensethesphere@gmail.com. Sensethesphere@gmail.com. You're now cosplaying, so it's got to that point. Jamie's just put it up there. Thank you, Jamie. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for finding us again. As some of you have said, there was another stream on and you could have gone there. How dare you? Right. Thank you, everyone. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I think we better go this time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Oh, yeah, come on, subscribe. I'm knackered.
Night.
Yes, I better do it.
Just like that.
Bye-bye, Douglas.
Yes. Please don't say goodbye twice tonight. How's that happen?
Subscribe.
Please subscribe. Good night, everyone. I heard England.